Joe Biden just signed the Inflation Reduction Act, and as we're going to learn, doesn't really reduce much inflation. And I'm pretty sure he signed it. I'm not sure he knows what he signed. We are going to take a look at it. Forbes had a very interesting clip of the signing ceremony, and they cut it off right at the moment where Joe Biden starts to kind of like lose it. He's kind of going, oh, what the heck is going on here? And so we are going to actually watch that in this clip. You can kind of see his face a little bit. He's starting to get a little bit, what the heck is going on over here? And there he is. And it reminded me of that old Easter Bunny saga where Joe Biden got shooed away from the press by the Easter Bunny. And so, it's sort of like back-to-back reminders that the president is struggling out there. But this is where Forbes clipped the signing ceremony. Let's watch this. It's about 46 seconds. Joe Biden came out, said a couple of things, historic, whatever. And then he walks over there, sits down at the table, and Forbes stops the clip. We're going to pick it up from there in a minute.
And now I'm going to take action that I've been looking forward to doing for 18 months. I'm going to sign the Inflation Reduction Act.
Okay, so first of all, did you hear the words that came out of his mouth? I'm going to sign the Reduction Act.
I'm going to sign the Inflation Reduction Act.
All right, so here he goes. You got Chuck Schumer there. You got Manchin over there. He's getting a lot of oil money for this deal. Chuck Schumer is really excited about it because he's getting more money. Who knows what he's getting? And I don't know who these other people are. Okay, here he goes. Our vigorous president. Now watch the cut. Here comes the cut.
Yo, it's now law.
All right, nice cut. Got pretty loud in there. For you headphones users, right? Pretty loud ceremony. Now, Forbes cut that out. But when you watch the rest of Joe Biden, man, he does not look too good here. Now we're going to pick it up. Fox News has the rest of the clip. And watch poor Joe just meandering around here before he hands the signing pen, which is ceremony, over to Joe Manchin over here from West Virginia. Oh my goodness, look at the eyes. Now I know what you might be thinking. You might be saying, well, that stands out. That's not that big of a deal. But listen, we have covered this for coming on several years now. We had this one. This was the Joe Biden bunny saga. Breitbart put this one together. And here's Joe being shooed away from the media. We had this one clip of the Easter Bunny.
Pakistan should not, and Afghanistan should be.
Watch the Easter Bunny.
Mr. President.
Okay, so watch the Easter Bunny come shoo him away from the media. Get out of here. You're done. Go. Get out of here. Go. Yeah, and that was one of his staffers. Remember that? She was actually in the bunny suit. And look at Joe's face. Here it is. Look at this. He's petrified. He's petrified by this bunny. I actually feel bad at his face. You can see it. And look at this. It just catches him. He's totally shocked and still petrified there. You can see the horror right there. That frame right there is just pure elder abuse. It's just horror right there. And that was Easter, right? And then they shoot him out of there, and they go back to your work over there. And so then Joe Biden is out there again with this face. I just think he's just getting worse as the day goes by. Now, also he had COVID, and so they were very concerned about some of the COVID protocols in the White House. And so here is Joe Biden walking in with his mask. Now his wife had COVID or has COVID. Jill, I think, still has COVID. But Joe has had it like 4 or 5 times now, or whatever it is, twice officially, but who knows? Here is the signing ceremony. He comes in with his mask, and watch what happens right after he takes his mask off. Okay, so a nice cough in the hand, and there's the signing pen over to Joe Manchin. Let's watch that again. Here it is. All right, so there's Manchin now. All right, so a lot of, funny stuff with the president, kind of ridiculous. But the big question that we have, since this is what's called an Inflation Reduction Act, wouldn't it be nice if we got a little reduction in inflation? I don't want inflation, right? I use the same currency that you do, probably. And we have, as you can see, a very, very, sort of reputable school here called Wharton University of Pennsylvania. They did a little analysis for us, and here's what they've got over on their website. And this is, as you can see, this is an EDU website, all right? This is budgetmodel.wharton.upenn.edu, right? So it's not foxnews.com, so, take it for what it's worth. Even though, well, I'll leave it at that. Here's what they tell us. The Inflation Reduction Act, comparing the CBO, which is the Congressional Budget Office, with the PBWM, which is another analysis, and giving us some estimates. Here's what they say. Key points: $248 billion reduction in accumulated deficits. The difference is, let's go back down to the, here it is. Take a look at this bullet point. Under this bill, bullet point 3 says the impact on inflation is statistically indistinguishable from zero for either estimate. You see what that says? The impact on inflation is statistically indistinguishable from zero by either estimate. Yeah. Over the first 5 years, CBO estimates only $21 billion in accumulated deficit reduction. Over the same period, however, payments to liquidity-constrained households exceed deficit reduction. And so, a lot of economics numbers that our eyes will glaze over if we start reading. So we don't need to do all of that. But the point is, they don't, zero, indistinguishable from zero in terms of reductions on inflation. So that means your dollars are not going to get any more valuable. They're going to continue to either deflate or stay the same. Here, the Committee on Responsible Federal Budgets, they gave us a little bit more information on what's actually in here. We've got a lot of money going to climate change. Overall, CBO estimates that there's going to be $485 billion of new spending and tax breaks, and that they're saying that these are going to reduce deficits. You can see billions of dollars, $386 billion, energy and climate. They're saying all this is going to result in savings, but it's costing money, $790 billion total revenue and savings, saying that deficits are going to be adjusted, but ultimately no real impact on inflation. Fiscal impact of the Inflation Reduction Act in terms of billions. Yeah, and so the Wharton School saying impact really results to zero. And the CNN was catching wind of this, and they had this conversation with somebody who is actually an advisor over at the White House. Here's what they asked her about. They said, we're looking at these studies, these numbers, these Inflation Reduction Act, that sort of implies that it's going to reduce inflation. Is it going to? And here is this non-answer from the White House.
Democrats titled this bill the Inflation Reduction Act, which begs, of course, for voters to hold you all accountable to that. The Congressional Budget Office, you know this, but to remind viewers, the Congressional Budget Office, the nonpartisan kind of scoring organization for legislation, says that the bill would have negligible impact on inflation this year and next. Are you personally comfortable as an economist calling it the Inflation Reduction Act?
So this bill represents really important investments we know we need to make that help to expand our economic capacity.
So
inflation happens when we have too much demand for the supply, and we know we need to be investing in the supply support so that we are better able as a country to address issues like inflation going forward. So this will increase our economic growth, and because of how we plan to implement it and provisions in the bill, that growth will be more equitably shared.
But if you
equitable growth. Now, here comes the question, the question that just is a whopper from CNN, and I was sort of surprised when I heard this one. Here it is.
Passed a bill called the Fill Every Pothole Act. I mean, voters should expect you to fill every pothole. I mean, so should voters measure the success of this bill on how much you reduce inflation in the next couple of years?
Yeah, and so there's really another non-answer that comes out of that, but it's a good question, right? If you have a pothole reduction act, you're supposed to have less potholes. How is the Inflation Reduction Act going to reduce anything at all? And in fact, we've heard this from many people. In Arizona, we have a senator named Mark Kelly who apparently was a NASA scientist who, I guess doesn't know a whole lot about weather for some reason. But he said that this Inflation Reduction Act was going to bring Arizona more water and help us with droughts and stuff. And I was asking myself, how much more rainwater are we going to get? Like, what is the return on the investment for our spending. Can anybody answer that? And the answer is no, right? Even by their own numbers, looks like it's going to be a big whopping zero. So Biden, very curious, wondering what the heck he signed. Many Americans are going to be hit with, sort of increased taxes, new IRS agents, and it's going to just be the same sort of litany we've been living under for some period of time. More money, more spending, more climate change initiatives that are probably going to fail. More pork going all over to Democrats. We've got Manchin. I'm sure Arizona's getting something from Kyrsten Sinema. Don't know what that is, but it's going to be, probably just keeping us on the exact same path that we've been on for the last several years. And, we'll see how that works out for him. But we'll continue to cover it, and I hope you follow us and hit that subscribe button before you watch your next video, and I look forward to seeing you there.